Om Tare, Tutare, Ture, Soha. Om Tare, Tutare, Ture, Soha.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Dialogue Internet Radio Network. I'm Abel Rodriguez, and yes, we have a brand new episode of Transmissions of a Cosmic Woman, and now here with you is our Cosmic Woman, Mandy Shantyne Lopez. How you doing, Mandy?
Woo! Thanks, Abel. Thanks, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Transmissions of a Cosmic Woman with your Cosmic Woman here on Earth, Mandy Shantyne Lopez. And of course, remember to check out this show and other shows on the Dialogue Internet Radio. Today, we have a fabulous guest. His name is Lorenzo Rodriguez. He is coming to us from Mexico City. He is a personal fitness coach, model, and actor, and one of my god brothers. So if you think I'm a little bit cosmic nuts, it's about to get really even weirder for you. How are you, Lorenzo?
I'm doing great, enjoying the sunny weather that we're having here in Mexico City. It's about high 70s, maybe low 80s. And
nice.
That's how we are the year round.
Nice. Well, here in El Paso, Texas, what is our weather, Abel? Do you know?
We got hit with that part of that snowstorm. We didn't get hit too bad, but got 4 inches at my house, and it was cold last night. But the sun came out. They were expecting rain, and then it's, believe it or not, by the weekend, 73 degrees. So
nice. Whoa,
warm,
that is always the interesting thing about El Paso, right? It's the bipolar weather. You never know what you're gonna get.
The sun was out and it was snowing.
Yes, it was beautiful.
That's the desert.
Yeah, I took a picture of it. It looked like a portal, like coming in through the sky, right? From there's snow all around us. You know, when the snow was falling, I happen to really like snow and the coldness. I think it's a very clearing, cleansing thing that we go through, because when snow falls, there's snowflakes, right? They're really little and teeny tiny. And the snowflakes carry with them coded information. And a lot of the time, well, most of the time, the snowflakes are coded with positive information. And if you were to ever put a snowflake somehow under a microscope, you would see that it has beautiful geometries. And you can also see this experiment done by, let's see, Lorenzo, help me with his name if I'm saying it wrong, but Miko something or another. He's a Japanese physicist, and he takes an experiment with water, and he labels one, I love you, and he labels another one, I hate you. And then he takes those, right? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I exactly know what you're talking about. I was going to piggyback from what you were talking about, the encoded information in water. Mm-hmm. And that study where, like you said, one water was praised. It was like, mm-hmm. I love you, you're awesome, you're amazing, you're beautiful, all the positive things that you can tell someone, or something in this case. And on the other one, the I hate you, was just a lot of negativity. You're worthless. I hate you. Nobody likes you. You're unwanted. Get away from us. And it was night and day. The I love you side had harmony. It was peaceful, serene, tranquility. Yes. The other one, chaos, disorder, distraught. You could tell on the formation of the molecules of water, which is 2 hydrogens and an oxygen, and they form a link. The 2 hydrogens are positive and they link to the negative oxygen. So you have hydrogen, oxygen, hydrogen, oxygen, and they form different formations. So when it's the I love you, they form in these hexagons or octagons. I think it's more of a hexagon shapes that they form, and they are in peace. They are aligned. But you look at the I hate you side, and they're erratic. They're all over the place. They're not forming.
Like discombobulated, like they're ugly. It doesn't even have a form, right? So we can imagine, Yes, and see, so my god brother and I can connect really like
Yeah,
super
really,
quick.
really, really
We
fast.
are already connected.
But you know, he's new to your audience as far as what we're doing here. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Lorenzo? Are you but from a big family? Where you know what brought you into you know this kind of a background of you know you're a fitness coach, but what you know the mind is just as important as the body. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Lorenzo Emmanuel Rodriguez Alvarado de Rogel. Um, I grew up in El Paso. I am also Mandy's contemporary. I believe we were both together in Benito Martinez.
No, we were together in high school.
But I thought you went, did you go to Benito Martinez or?
No,
No?
I didn't.
Anyway, so we were together in Malwood High School there in El Paso, Texas, on the east side of town. And then we we formalized our relationship when we were together at the University of Texas at El Paso in UTEP. And I believe it was a class with Charles Gordon.
This was one of our professors. Let me just interject real quick, Abel,
Yes.
and
I would
Chuck
think.
Gordon. If you're listening, we love you. He lives up north now, but he would always use the F word for everything,
A lot.
but not in a condescending or vulgar way. It was just like an adjective, right, Lorenzo?
It would flow. Everything flowed. So it would be, he would be explaining Shakespeare, and it would be like Shakespeare, and then the FU word, and it would just flow. It was just, it was like saying,
one of my favorite words, by the way.
I believe it almost everyone, especially
Right.
a toddler, when they find out there's like F all the time.
Right.
You know, getting back, I formally met her in at UTEP in the drama department, where there was always drama, and we started with a saying, by the power of Ra.
That's right.
And
We did.
It just stuck.
That was like our mantra.
It has always been our mantra from that moment on. For the past 15 years, I want to say, we've had the mantra of by the power of Ra. And if our listeners, viewers, remember the Prince of Egypt, when Moses had that confrontation with Pharaoh and his priests,
Right.
and the song was by the power of Ra. I can't remember the context of the conversation that we had that day,
I
but
don't know either.
we connected when we said by the power of Ra at the same time in unison, and we're like, you know, if you know, you know.
Right.
Yeah, if you know, you know. Exactly. So what Lorenzo is demonstrating too is like the many layers of, this is just an example of what many people have in life, and I'm sure you do too, Abel, is this multi-layer interaction of connection between, okay, we're like college students and we're like, oh yeah, quoting like a fun movie. But really what it was is it was a recognition of who we were or are back in another life, perhaps, because we were saying these things to each other that were like, okay, ha ha ha, and we're always very giddy and just like connecting on that level. And it's something that when you're able to connect with someone who is able to see you, because sometimes in life we don't feel seen. A lot of the times we think like nobody gets us, right? And when you can find your people who connect with you, your cosmic brothers and sisters, then that's like, whoa, you can formulate a whole different life and reality perspective. And then you can help each other jump through those geometries. And another interesting thing, Lorenzo, before I want you to continue, is that another connection we had is, for some reason, we both lived in Florida at the same time after
Very
years
true.
of not talking to each other. He lived on one side and I lived on another side, and it was just a very like, that's weird, what are you doing here kind of like synchronicity, right?
So we both graduated and we both took different paths. I was modeling at the time, and then in the interim, between my graduation from UTEP to joining the Navy. I was modeling and I got tired of it. And I decided, let's serve our country. Mostly, I got motivated to do so from the film The Immortals with Henry Cavill, where he's portraying one of the many Greek heroes. And as you can tell, I have a lot of metaphysical tattoos as well. Maybe some of our viewers, listeners will recognize some of them. But I joined the Navy and I was sent to Jacksonville, Florida, and I was moving around a lot the state. Because in 2 hours you were in Tampa, in an hour you were in Orlando, in
Totally.
4.5 you were in Fort Lauderdale, and if you went a little bit further, you're in Miami. So I was moving around a lot, and all of a sudden Mandy is like, "Are you in Florida? Because I'm in Florida." And I was like, "Shut up, I'm in Florida and you're in Florida." So we had that connection. And then on top of that, we have a very strong and deep connection with Atlantis, one of the many colonies here on Earth. I don't know if we're going to venture into that subject today, but I'm probably sure, since it's in our lineage, since you were asking me about my family, part of my cosmic family, yes, is Atlantean. And my family is from Mexico City, from my dad's side, and they have dwelled in the dark arts. In my mom's side of the family, my great-grandmother was a medium. She would hold seances in her home. And this was because, the reason that I know is because my mother would tell me that when she was over at her grandmother's, she would say, "You cannot be in the house, you have to be outside. Whatever you hear, whatever you smell, whatever thing you witness from inside the house, never open the door until I tell you to, or I come for you." So she didn't really know at the time, and then all of a sudden she tells me, "Well, your great-grandmother, she would hold seances in her house and she was a medium." So all those arts have always been intertwined, whether it's through my physical DNA or my cosmic DNA, just to, to add to my background.
So that it's interesting that because of the backgrounds or whatever, but you found yourself in the same state. That's part of the belief of how people of the same ilk that really have related to each other kind of end up in the same places.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you know what's even funny? Let's be really, we'll be really raw with you. You know what I'm gonna say?
Oh, absolutely.
Is at the time that Lorenzo's in Florida living that life, because we both feel that we've lived different lives within this life, and maybe you felt this way too, Abel, right?
Yes, I have.
Right, different chapters are totally different. When I lived in Florida, I had a fiance, and his name was Steven, very lovely man, right? And Lorenzo I think he got married to a woman.
I was married. Yes, I was married to another member of the Navy. Her name was Jessica, and well, that's a whole
other story.
Other.
The point is it was interesting that timeline took us to be with these certain people, and then when we both moved back, because Lorenzo did move back here to El Paso around the same time I did for a little while, and then he went to Mexico City. Then we were like different people, and we were becoming more like, thinking we were gonna prefer to have connections with, like, for example, Lorenzo now prefers to connect with other males. I prefer to connect with females. I already had that experience. So it's interesting that maybe if we were in another connection, probably me and Lorenzo would be married and like having divine children and stuff like that. But I don't think the world can handle it. So that's why the universe is like, no.
Which we've talked about that.
Yeah, we have talked about that, but I'm just not mother material, so.
Don't worry. I think our mothers, your mother and my mother, if they're listening into this, they would be like, "Don't worry, we'll take care of the kids."
Exactly. Yeah. Let's make
Exactly.
sure they don't hear this transmission.
So let's get into some subjects.
Yes.
So, well, Lorenzo brought up the New Atlantis, and what the New Atlantis is. Have you heard about this, Abel?
No.
Okay. So the New Atlantis is really a political party. And it is the disintegration of the left and the right. And it is the party for the people, and it is the party of new innovations, and it is the pioneer of really a new earth and bringing in all that technology that we have that's been hidden from us to cure the illnesses that were man-made and set up, by a lot of our own governments, and to have innovations so people are not starving anymore. We're not in poverty. We're not drinking like disgusting water, things that we could never imagine. Free energy. So think Tesla. So the New Atlanteans is, and I don't know if that's what it's going to be called, but it's a consciousness of people. And certainly you could probably say that Lorenzo and I are part of that consciousness, because I didn't know. It just, again, pieces start coming together. Wouldn't you say, Lorenzo?
Oh, absolutely. Especially, I'm putting on my shawl because it's a
You put
little
on your shawl.
chilly.
It's a little chilly.
So with the New Atlantis, as Mandy was saying, it is most definitely a vibration, not like a physical place, unless, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mandy, but unless you're very gifted, which many people do believe they are, and unbeknownst to them, they might not be, but that's aside the fact, can witness the physicalities of this vibration, which in the past, in the Bible, has been called New Jerusalem. The Greeks called it Olympus. They also called it Champs-Élysées, the Elysian Fields, which the Romans also were familiar with that. The Nordic tribes were familiar with Valhalla. Atlanteans have always come into play because of Plato, where he talks about in his essay about Atlantis and how advanced this civilization really is. And the reason I use is because it still exists. Many probably who are scientists are like, you're crazy because we haven't found it. And I'm like, you are not looking in the right places. And you have no access to it because you are not there yet. You will be there yet, thanks to people like Mandy and Donald Trump. Whether you're not a fan of him or not, he is also a cosmic being. He has many connections to the New Atlantis. And myself, Mandy, have visited Atlantis in the, I want to say, in the past, and that's through astral projection. Astral projection is when your essence, because we're not just a body, we're not just the mind, and we're not just the soul. We're an ensemble of the three. And the soul, when you do the astral projection, leaves the mind and the body and goes wherever it wants to or where it is needed. So during my travels as an astral person that can astrally project, I've been doing this since I was, I want to say 3 years old. Been doing it for a long time. I've been able to visit Atlantis, and believe it or not, there's more than one Atlantis, because there have been, I want to say, about 7 or 9 Atlantis. The first one is secluded in another dimension. And then the rests were placed on Earth in different areas: Antarctica, off the coast of Japan, off the coast of Florida, in the Mediterranean Sea, in the Indian Ocean, in Africa, and in Europe. And all of these places, all of these cultures that were there or that are there, have a notion of Atlantis. They all talk about, for example, here in Mexico City, where the Aztecs were, they talked about Aslan and in their paradise, which is actually just a different word for Atlantis.
Yeah, and Lorenzo, if I real quick, I went to this really nice building in Juarez, and there is this building, I'm sure you saw it because I posted it. There's this statue of Poseidon, right?
You sent me the photo. As soon as you saw it, you're like, snap, I saw this, and it reminded me of you.
Yes, and there's a statue of Poseidon in this huge building, and in this like huge fountain, and then I went up and I kissed it on the lips because that's how crazy I am. But yeah, so yes, so there's that influence. Like, why are we in Juarez and there's Poseidon there with his like what's it called, with the trident, and also, yeah, the Atlantis, people believe that it stretches all the way up to Greenland. And one of the, I think, physical proofs we can kind of identify, or at least this is what I believe in, is in Florida, there is a beach called Siesta Key. And Siesta Key, the sand is 99.9% crystal quartz sand. It's white. It literally feels like when you lay down, like you just had some kind of like Reiki or full body healing or something has taken place. And so in order for there to be so much sand as crystal, right? At one point, there had to be like monolithic quartz crystals in that area. Could you imagine, right? So what were these monolithic crystals doing by the water? And so it was just like, okay, this really goes with the pieces of where Atlantis, some of Atlantis stood, because like you said, it goes all the way everywhere. But also, most importantly, it's not so much a physical place, but a consciousness, right?
Absolutely.
And activating that consciousness again within yourselves. And it's not even like, and I'm really not even about labels. It can be anything that you feel is like, you know, I'm as a human being, because right now I think everyone's having like an interesting awakening, or I'm calling it a blooming right now, of thinking they're perceiving things like so different. And it's like, I feel different. I'm seeing things differently. What's going on, you know? And everyone is a part of their own soul groups and their own conscious contracts and agreements about what they're going to do here on the planet as they're in their vessels, like you and I, right?
Absolutely.
So go ahead, Lorenzo. Continue on that point.
I was going to add is that going back into the new Atlantis, so it is an idea, it is a vibration, because we are all vibrations. So and then I'm going to go back into the water and with the molecules, and anyone who's listening will probably know that water vibrates. The water molecules vibrate together. So they send out a vibration. And then what are we made out of? Mostly water. So we vibrate, and whatever vibration we send out or we believe in, and we have to consciously believe. Because I can say, I'm a bird, and well, I'm not a bird. But if you definitely believe and you have the most, the strongest will, because we know people that have very strong will that can manifest things. So when the people wake up and they realize that they are their own gods, they are their own creators of their own universe, because we're all one universe. I'm a universe. Abel, you're a universe. Mandy, you're a universe. And we're all connected, and we all gyrate together, and we all vibrate. And when we all vibrate in the same frequency, there's going to be harmony. Right now, unfortunately, many of the people on this planet, on this plane, do not vibrate the same as others. Because what happened, and I'm going to touch another topic, the Tower of Babel, which we are right now living Tower of Babel Part 2. With all the 5G towers.
Honestly, I didn't know we were going to live so many like sequels. I'm like, we're still on the Tower of Babel? Okay.
Yes.
Let's go.
Absolutely. And what happened in the first Tower of Babel? The light side, believe it or not, the light side lost
Mhm.
and the dark side won. And what did they do? They confused mankind. This is in the Bible.
With the languages.
Let's confuse them and
Mhm.
give them different languages so they are not able to communicate and realize that they are also divine creatures.
Mhm.
That's
Well,
exactly what
I'd
it
like to bring up an Indian word that I've been really embracing lately, and it's a Hopi word, and it's called koyo anetskatse. And what it means in
Ayatskatse.
yeah, koyo anetskatse, and what it means is world in disarray, world out of balance. And
Mhm.
it really goes good with what is going on right now because I mean without balance there's no center, right?
correct. And
Mhm.
that's actually how they want mankind to still be. And no, that is incorrect. Mankind needs to be free, and they need to be free because is one of the biggest sins that has been committed to mankind, which is an enslavement. And that started with the religion and the way that it was forced upon people. And unfortunately, um, it still continues, which it's very much soon to be at an end. Um, and
Well, I would say I would add religion and sciences.
yes.
Now, and there's, if we look at the level of extremities, right? We can go
Mhm.
far extreme religious and far extreme scientific. They're the same thing, right? So two things that are extreme are the same thing. But of course, there is beauty in religion and there is
Mhm.
beauty in science too, right? It's just in the way that we use all the tools and knowing that all the
Only
tools,
if the religion fits for you. Think about it, because look at
yeah.
the different voices that are out there. You got one guy telling you that we're in the end days, and yet he's trying to sell you powdered 50 pounds of powdered eggs because he thinks that the Lord has chosen people to get past the end days, but you need food. So send me $250 and a prayer request, and I'll send you, 5 buckets of powdered eggs.
Which
That
is
one,
one of
Yeah.
the
and
things that
And you
and
know
then
what that,
but let me finish. You got that also the voice of abundance.
Mhm.
We got 10 minutes left, so I'm just letting you know.
What?
But the voice, yeah, the voice of abundance is about ask God and He shall give.
absolutely.
Mhm.
And I think that's even worse. But what you were talking about religion for me, I mean, depending on where you are, where you were born and how you were brought up, indoctrination of some sort of religion does happen. But if you reach all the way further back and you go, how did religion get to the Americas? Well, it was brought from Europe, Spain,
That was one
Portugal,
religion because you had the religion that the local people that were here in North and South America already carried. I mean, here in Mexico City, you had the Aztecs or the Mexica,
right?
and you also had the Mayans in the Yucatan Peninsula here in Mexico. And then up to the north, you had the Hopis, the Apaches, the Comanches, the Iroquois. And on the South America, you had the Incas. They all followed one specific idea, which was a great spirit. And I know the Hopis mention it a lot.
Right.
And then the Aztecs, they mentioned Quetzalcoatl, which is the plumed serpent, and that's one of the highest deities. But they all believed in one supreme being. So that because of when the Europeans brought in the Christianity, that they were able to form a link between the two because they already believed in a all-powerful being. So let's bring our version of the all-powerful being. So that's how they were able to convert the people that were here already. And some of them, most of them by force.
Well,
Uh,
and so here's what I want to say though. is I think it's important that we not kind of like demoralize religion, because
Absolutely.
it is important for some levels of consciousness. And all it simply is are you acting off of the vibration of fear, hence the man selling the powdered eggs, or are you acting from a vibration of trust and love and unshakable peace, right? That's the difference. And within those two vibrations, all it gets dressed up as are the stories, the mythologies, the invocations in the religion, right? And so of course, yes, each region is going to have their own play on these stories that unfold in the great spirit and the great God and source, and however you want to see it. But truly, when you take everything off behind the curtain, it just goes back to two vibrations: fear or love, peace, faith. And the thing is that it's so easy when you're seeing, even on TV, they do it to you. When they're fear mongering you, you know, they're trying to activate you and control you into that state of slavery, really.
Exactly.
You know. But if you're listening to something and it's like, no, you have the power, you are connected to the all, you know, being, source, God, light, great spirit, you can connect to that, and you too can do just as Jesus did and more, because that's literally what he said, right? That's coming from a place of peace, inspiration, love, right? So it's very important that, because I hear a lot of these conversations of like, well, the answer to our problems is getting rid of religion, or, oh, you sound too religious, or, and it's like, no, people, like, those are beautiful tools at our hands. And if we don't have some of these mythologies or stories, and I happen to love the Bible because it's encoded in esoteric texts,
Absolutely.
right? And invocation and all these things, it's a magical text, is that we can't strip that from ourselves as humans, because then we strip all that is love, that is light. Then we're being taken by like some other kind of control. Then we're no longer humans. Wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Because one of the things that differentiate us from all the other creations is that we have the capacity to give love unconditionally, just as as the unconditional love that the Creator has given us. And in the Bible, it is mentioned that when God created man, he breathed into man part of his essence. So therefore, mankind, which is both men and males and females, are blessed with a divine essence. And that's why I was saying that we're all our own universes, and we should all gyrate at the same rhythm. And with all these different religions and all these languages, it sort of does disarray all these vibrations. But most importantly, what we have to realize is that we all have the power to do miracles, just as Jesus Christ, or Jeshua, would say, you have the same capacities that I do. It's just you have to learn how to tap into that source, which even the Egyptians talk about it, because the Egyptians also mentioned this issue. Mankind, so when Thoth, and I know I'm all over the place, but when Thoth spoke to his people, the Egyptians, he said, I am going to put the knowledge in the one place that mankind will never look. And what's that place? The heart.
Exactly.
That's
within
also
ourselves.
what Jeshua said. It's all within the heart and love.
We got about 3 minutes, guys.
I am saying that, but religion is important because it puts the foundation for a great spiritual life. And that is something that we need. Just like when we send our kids to school to learn what 1 + 1 = 2 is, so that they can take the derivative of an equation later on in life. So therefore, religion gives you those baby steps to be able to make that quantum leap into spirituality and being able to become not only better beings, but making the environment everywhere that we are a better place. And that's one of
Lorenzo,
the things.
go ahead.
That
I'm just letting you know that we're, I get Zoom for free. So you know what I'm saying? So we're almost
all
to the
right.
end.
So let's wrap it up. So if you want to learn more about your soul alchemy, you can connect with Lorenzo, you can connect with I. That's what we do. We coach privately, we have group classes, we do discussions, anything that you want, because that's where we're at. We're at the precipice of going into our soul.
Absolutely.
and discovering, having this soul journey, and we're becoming new beings, because none of this, the old stuff, does not serve anymore.
We got 2 minutes. Keep going.
We will continue this conversation with Lorenzo next week. I hope he has us, and I hope Abel will have us after our
everything's fine. Lorenzo, if somebody wants to get in touch with you, where can they find you?
So on Instagram, I am as Lorenzo de Rogel, LORENZO DEROGEL on Instagram.
Perfect.
All right. And of course, Mandy, where can people get a hold of you?
Oh, of course, you can find me at mshantyne on Instagram, or at the portal_EP, and that'll be the portal to lead you to everything at Cosmic Women Magazine as well. So yes, we'll come back next week and go more into this conversation. Cosmic conversation always just flies by for us, right? So, right? Thank you, Lorenzo, for being with us and sharing your insights. God, brother, wonderful. And thank you, Abel, for the platform. And everyone, make sure to check out this show and other shows on the Dialogue Internet Radio. And tell us what you think. If you have questions, please send them, put them on Abel's Facebook, and he'll relay them back to us.
You've been listening to Transmissions of a Cosmic Woman with Mandy Shantyne Lopez on the Dialogue Internet Radio Network. Thanks for listening.
Reincarnations, karmic debts, karmic rewards. Mostly, we have forgotten ourselves. The human race is scrambling in fragments and shards, trying to piece itself together. Many of us have come from the cosmic Godhead source. We are here to assist in reversing the dark distortions.